I have proof. These hero-honoring charities have been scamming veterans out of their money. You do not have an invitation. This is a private event, they told her. A female veteran was banned from a biker rally, but the Hells Angels escorted her in. When Purple Heart recipient Sarah Martinez discovered the Iron Cross rally was stealing funds meant for veteran memorials, her exclusion became the least of their problems, especially after the Hells Angels heard about it. The Iron Cross rally sprawled across an abandoned military airfield outside Bakersfield, California, where rusted hangars cast shadows over 10,000 motorcycles under an August sun that baked concrete and conspiracies alike. The defunct Edwards Air Force Base Auxiliary provided a perfect metaphor. A forgotten military facility hosting an event that exploited veteran memory for profit while excluding actual veterans from participation. Confederate flags mixed with corporate sponsorship banners in a grotesque display of commercialized rebellion that honored nothing but greed, disguised as tradition. Staff Sergeant Sarah Martinez, 31, had earned a Purple Heart and Bronze Star treating casualties in Fallujah before losing her left leg to an IED blast that ended her Army career, but not her commitment to fallen brothers. Her prosthetic leg never slowed her Harley riding or her veteran advocacy work, which had uncovered troubling patterns in the Iron Cross rally's financials. For 2 years, Sarah had investigated rally organizer Rick Diesel Thompson's promises about donating profits to veteran memorial construction. Her accounting background revealed systematic fraud. $2.3 million in memorial funds diverted to Thompson's personal accounts, while families waited for promised monuments honoring their dead children. Sarah's plan was simple: attend the Iron Cross rally with evidence of Thompson's fraud, confront him publicly, and demand accountability before veteran families learned their memorial money had been stolen. But Thompson had different ideas about female veterans questioning his authority or exposing his crimes. Sarah would discover that some battles required more than individual courage. They required allies willing to risk everything for justice. At the Iron Cross's main gate, security guards blocked Sarah's entry despite her valid tickets and veteran credentials. "Ma'am, this event excludes females from participation. Owner's policy, no exceptions," they said. But Sarah wasn't just seeking rally attendance. She was hunting a thief who'd stolen millions from Gold Star families while hiding behind a biker culture that should have protected veteran honor rather than enabling veteran exploitation. Sometimes, the greatest enemies wear patches that should represent brotherhood. "Sir, I'm Staff Sergeant Martinez, a Purple Heart recipient investigating financial fraud connected to this rally," Sarah explained to gate security, maintaining her military bearing despite the humiliation. "I have evidence of stolen veteran memorial funds." Security Chief Wade Bradley, wearing Iron Cross patches and Confederate tattoos, sneered with practiced contempt. "Lady, we don't care about your government medals or feminist investigations. This rally's for real bikers who earned respect through brotherhood, not diversity handouts." Sarah felt a familiar combat anger, a controlled fury that had kept her alive treating wounded Marines under fire. Those diversity handouts included saving soldiers who bled for the flag you pretend to honor while stealing from their families, she retorted. Bradley's radio crackled. "Boss wants the female veteran removed immediately. Use whatever force necessary." Through the rally gates, Sarah glimpsed Thompson addressing the crowd from the main stage, surrounded by banners advertising "Honoring Our Fallen Heroes," while his offshore accounts held $2.3 million stolen from those heroes' families. "Ma'am, you've got 10 seconds to leave before we call the county sheriff," Bradley threatened, his hand moving toward a concealed weapon. Sarah's strategy required adapting military tactics to a civilian environment. Gather intelligence, recruit allies, and execute the mission despite superior enemy forces. Thompson controlled rally security, local law enforcement, and the media narrative. But Sarah had evidence that could destroy his empire if presented effectively. Bradley, I'm establishing a peaceful protest on public property outside your gates, Sarah announced, positioning her Harley strategically for media visibility. Every veteran family deserves to know where their memorial money went. Sarah's social media posts about stolen veteran funds attracted attention from military families, veteran advocacy groups, and investigative journalists who'd been tracking similar fraud cases nationwide. Her #StolenValor hashtags went viral as Gold Star mothers shared heartbreaking stories about promised memorials that never materialized. But Sarah needed more than social media outrage. She needed allies with the power to enforce accountability. Thompson's connections included corrupt officials, crooked cops, and traditional motorcycle clubs that prioritized loyalty over justice. Sarah, you're fighting an entire system designed to protect people like Thompson, warned Maria Santos, president of Sisters of Steel MC, who had driven from Los Angeles to support her protest. Then we need different allies, Sarah replied, studying the Hells Angels contingent arriving for the weekend events. 300 members whose reputation for handling fraud and betrayal was legendary throughout California. Sarah's investigation gained momentum as forensic accountant Jessica Chin confirmed systematic fraud spanning 4 years of Iron Cross rallies. Thompson had diverted $2.3 million through shell companies, while filing false tax returns claiming charitable donations he never made. But Thompson escalated his defense, hiring a private security firm and threatening arrest for defamation and harassment, despite Sarah remaining on public property. The local sheriff's department, compromised by Thompson's campaign contributions, prepared to remove veteran protesters at the rally organizers' request. Martinez, you're creating problems for an important community event, Sheriff Bob Walsh announced through a bullhorn. Disperse immediately or face arrest for disturbing the peace. Sarah realized Thompson's corruption extended beyond financial fraud into political corruption that protected his criminal enterprise through official channels. Traditional law enforcement couldn't be trusted when the criminals owned the cops. That evening, Hells Angels. Oakland chapter president Bones McKenzie approached Sarah's protest camp with obvious interest in her signs detailing stolen veteran memorial funds. Sergeant, heard you've got beef with Thompson about ripping off Gold Star families, Bones said with military courtesy. Hells Angels take a dim view of anyone stealing from veteran families. Sometimes justice rides on chrome horses, carrying righteous fury that shakes corrupt foundations. Bones convened an emergency meeting with Hells Angels leadership after reviewing Sarah's evidence of Thompson's systematic fraud. His investigation revealed deeper corruption. Thompson had stolen from multiple veteran charities while using the Iron Cross rally as a money laundering operation for drug trafficking profits. Martinez, this bastard didn't just steal memorial money, Bones reported grimly. He's been washing cartel cash through fake veteran donations, while actual Gold Star families wait for monuments he never intended to build. Sarah felt validation mixed with horror at the scope of the fraud. Thompson hadn't just betrayed veteran families. He'd prostituted their grief for criminal profit while hiding behind patriotic imagery that made his crimes more despicable. But Thompson fought back through corrupt channels, convincing a federal judge, his golf partner, to issue a restraining order prohibiting Sarah from harassing legitimate business operations within 500 yards of the Iron Cross rally. Sarah, the legal system's rigged against us, observed Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Williams, a retired veteran advocate who joined the protest. Thompson bought protection through political connections we can't match. Bones studied the restraining order with professional interest. Sergeant, sometimes justice requires working outside corrupted official channels, he said. National media discovered Sarah's story as CNN, Fox News, and military publications framed the Iron Cross Rally as a symbol of systematic veteran exploitation enabled by institutional corruption. Gold Star mothers testified about promised memorials that never appeared while Thompson lived in luxury, purchased with their grief. This represents everything wrong with commercialized patriotism, declared veteran advocate Colonel James Rodriguez during a televised interview. Thompson profits from veteran sacrifice, while actual veterans face discrimination and fraud. But Thompson's media counterattack portrayed Sarah as a disgruntled female veteran, using false accusations to destroy a successful veteran charity event. His PR firm, experienced in crisis management, painted him as a victim of politically motivated harassment. Social media polarized between supporters celebrating Sarah's courage and trolls attacking her military service. Disability status and gender as disqualifying factors for challenging male authority in traditional spaces. Thompson's private security escalated harassment, following Sarah, photographing her supporters, and creating an intimidating presence designed to discourage continued investigation. Local media, dependent on rally advertising revenue, minimized coverage of fraud allegations. Sarah, you're fighting a power structure that profits from veteran exploitation, Bones observed during a strategy meeting. Sarah's breakthrough came when a whistleblower inside Thompson's organization provided complete financial records proving systematic theft from veteran memorial funds dating back to the Iron Cross Rally's founding in 2019. Martinez, this shows Thompson diverted 90% of memorial donations to personal accounts, reported FBI Special Agent Lisa Chin, finally able to act on concrete evidence. We can file federal charges for mail fraud, tax evasion, and RICO violations. But Thompson had anticipated a federal investigation, fleeing to a non-extradition country with the stolen funds while leaving shell companies and fall guys to face prosecution. His escape plan included destroying evidence and intimidating witnesses through criminal associates. "Son of a bitch disappeared with everything," Bones announced after the Hells Angels intelligence network confirmed Thompson's flight. He left behind empty accounts and scared employees who know nothing about where the money went. Sarah realized Thompson's escape meant Gold Star families would never recover the stolen memorial funds or seek justice for the exploitation of their children's deaths. The fraud investigation had succeeded, but arrived too late to prevent the criminal from enjoying the profits of his betrayal. "Bones, we can't let him get away with stealing from fallen soldiers' families," Sarah said, with military determination. The Iron Cross Rally continued despite Thompson's disappearance. Run by lieutenants who claimed ignorance of the financial fraud while maintaining discriminatory policies that excluded female veterans from participation. They announced the rally would honor Thompson's legacy while donating remaining funds to appropriate charities. Sarah discovered these appropriate charities were additional shell companies designed to steal whatever money remained from veteran memorial accounts. Thompson's criminal organization would continue operating under new management with the same exploitative practices. They're planning to steal whatever's left while maintaining Thompson's exclusion policies, Sarah reported to a growing coalition of veteran advocates, Hells Angels chapters, and federal investigators. FBI agent Chin confirmed Thompson's organization had extensive criminal connections that wouldn't disappear with his flight. Sarah, this investigation revealed an entire network of veteran charity fraud across 12 states. Thompson was just one operator in a systematic exploitation, Chin said. Bones made a decision that would transform an individual fraud case into a comprehensive assault on veteran exploitation. Martinez, the Hells Angels are declaring war on every criminal stealing from military families. Time to clean house completely, he said. Sometimes justice requires more than legal proceedings. It requires dismantling entire criminal enterprises that prey on society's most vulnerable. Thompson's criminal network struck back through a coordinated assault on Sarah's investigation. Her laptop was hacked, her financial accounts were frozen, and she received death threats from anonymous sources, warning her to stop interfering with legitimate business operations or face consequences. The attacks escalated when Sarah's prosthetic leg was damaged during a mysterious accident in the rally parking lot, leaving her mobility compromised and vulnerable to further assault. Thompson's associates had identified her disability as a weakness to exploit through targeted harassment. Martinez, they're trying to break you physically and financially, Bones observed after reviewing surveillance footage showing deliberate sabotage of Sarah's mobility equipment. Classic intimidation tactics used against whistleblowers who threaten criminal enterprises. FBI agent Chin confirmed federal witness protection might be necessary, as Thompson's organization had connections to cartel violence that eliminated threats through murder rather than legal pressure. Sarah, these people have killed federal witnesses before. We can't guarantee your safety if you continue public advocacy, Chin warned. But Sarah's withdrawal would abandon Gold Star families to continued exploitation while allowing the criminal network to expand operations nationwide. Her individual safety meant nothing compared to the systematic veteran exploitation that Thompson's escape had exposed. The Iron Cross rally continued as a celebration of Thompson's legacy, while criminal lieutenants planned to expand stolen valor operations to military ceremonies, veteran funerals, and Gold Star family events across Western states. The confrontation reached a climax when Thompson's replacement, Viper Johnson, announced the Iron Cross Rally would become an annual memorial to Thompson's persecution by feminist federal agents who destroyed a patriotic veteran charity through politically motivated harassment. Johnson's speech perverted the narrative completely. Thompson became a martyred veteran advocate, while Sarah became a corrupt federal persecutor who'd stolen millions from veteran families through false accusations and government overreach. Brothers, we honor Rick Thompson's memory by continuing his work supporting veteran families against federal tyranny, Johnson declared from the main stage, while Thompson's stolen millions remained hidden in offshore accounts. Sarah realized Johnson's strategy would turn the veteran community against the federal investigation, while establishing Thompson as a hero whose persecution justified expanded criminal operations. The fraud case was being weaponized into anti-government propaganda, but Bones had coordinated a response that exposed Johnson's criminal background to the assembled crowd through the Hells Angels intelligence network. Brothers, Viper Johnson ain't no veteran advocate. He's a convicted child molester using patriotic imagery to hide a criminal enterprise, Bones announced. The revelation shattered Johnson's credibility as the Hells Angels presented documented evidence of his criminal history, connection to Thompson's financial fraud, and plans to expand the exploitation of veteran families nationwide. Rally attendees turned against Johnson as evidence mounted of systematic betrayal by leaders they'd trusted to honor military service rather than exploit it for criminal profit. Johnson's exposure triggered the collapse of Thompson's entire criminal network, as associates fled rather than face federal prosecution for veteran exploitation that carried enhanced penalties under military justice provisions. The criminal enterprise dissolved within hours as loyalty evaporated under the pressure of inevitable incarceration. Sarah watched 4 years of systematic fraud unravel as FBI agents arrested the remaining conspirators while seizing assets that would fund actual veteran memorial construction rather than criminal luxury purchases. Martinez, you did it, Agent Chin announced as handcuffs replaced criminal leadership. Thompson's network is finished, and we've recovered $1.8 million for actual veteran memorial construction. But Sarah's victory felt incomplete. Thompson remained free in a non-extradition country, while Gold Star families had lost 4 years waiting for memorials that criminals never intended to build. Justice was partial rather than complete. Bones approached Sarah with respect earned through sustained courage under impossible pressure. "Sergeant, you took down an entire criminal enterprise that was stealing from military families nationwide. Thompson may have escaped, but his operation is finished," he said. The Iron Cross rally grounds became a crime scene, as federal agents documented evidence of systematic veteran exploitation, while the Hells Angels provided security for an investigation that would prevent similar fraud nationwide. Sometimes victory means stopping criminals, even when complete justice remains elusive. With Thompson's criminal network dismantled and assets seized for legitimate veteran memorial construction, Sarah faced a decision about her future role in veteran advocacy. The FBI offered a federal position investigating veteran charity fraud, while the Hells Angels invited her to coordinate nationwide anti-exploitation operations. "Martinez, you've got a talent for exposing criminals who prey on military families," Agent Chin observed. Federal service would provide resources and authority to expand this work nationwide. But Bones offered a different path. "Sergeant, the Hells Angels respect your courage and want to partner on protecting veteran families from systematic exploitation. We've got networks and methods federal agents can't access," he said. Sarah realized both offers represented a commitment to continued service that honored her military oath while addressing civilian threats to the veteran community. The choice wasn't between options, but about combining resources for maximum effectiveness. "Agent Chin, Mr. Mackenzie, why not work together instead of separately?" Sarah suggested, recognizing that federal authority and Hells Angels resources could create unprecedented protection for vulnerable veteran families. The partnership between federal investigators and the Hells Angels created a unique law enforcement alliance that leveraged official authority with grassroots intelligence networks capable of identifying veteran exploitation before criminals establish systematic operations. "Sarah, this cooperation could revolutionize how we protect military families from predatory fraud," Agent Chin explained during a planning meeting. "Hells Angels intelligence identifies threats, while federal authority provides prosecution capabilities." Bones nodded in agreement. "Sergeant, the motorcycle community hears about charity fraud before government agencies notice missing money. We can provide an early warning system that prevents exploitation rather than just prosecuting it after the damage is done," he said. Sarah's role became coordination between federal resources and biker networks, using her military experience and investigative skills to bridge cultures that traditionally viewed each other with suspicion rather than cooperation. But institutional resistance emerged from both sides. Federal agents questioned the Hells Angels' methods, while bikers resisted government oversight of their traditional independence. The partnership required overcoming decades of mutual distrust. "Martinez, some agents worry about legitimizing outlaw motorcycle clubs through official cooperation," Agent Chin admitted privately. "The Justice Department has concerns about the precedent this sets." Similarly, Hells Angels members questioned cooperation with federal authority that had historically persecuted motorcycle culture. "Sarah, some brothers think we're selling out by working with the feds," Bones acknowledged. Sarah's military leadership experience proved crucial in managing competing interests while maintaining focus on the shared mission of protecting veteran families from systematic exploitation. The test came when Sarah's team identified a massive veteran charity fraud in Texas, criminals using the Iron Cross model to steal millions from military family support organizations while planning to expand nationwide before federal investigation could stop them. "Martinez, we've got evidence of $5 million in fraud targeting military families across 4 states," Agent Chin reported urgently. "But the criminals are moving money offshore faster than traditional investigation can track." The Hells Angels Intelligence Network provided real-time information about criminal movements that federal surveillance couldn't access quickly enough to prevent escape with stolen funds. Sarah, our contacts confirm the criminals are fleeing to Mexico tonight with everything, Bones reported. Federal warrants take too long. They'll be gone before the paperwork clears. Sarah's coordination enabled an unprecedented response. The Hells Angels tracked the criminals, while federal agents prepared arrest warrants, combining grassroots intelligence with official authority to prevent an escape that would have succeeded under traditional investigation methods. 1 year later, Sarah's Veterans Protection Alliance had prevented $12 million in charity fraud, while coordinating the successful prosecution of 17 criminal organizations that exploited military families through fake patriotic imagery and stolen valor operations. The Iron Cross Rally Grounds became the site of a legitimate veteran memorial ceremony, as recovered funds financed the construction of monuments honoring fallen soldiers whose families had waited years for recognition that criminals had stolen. Martinez, you didn't just expose one fraud. You created a system that protects all military families from systematic exploitation, Agent Chin observed during the memorial dedication ceremony. Bones agreed. Sergeant, the Hells Angels learned that real brotherhood means protecting those who served rather than just talking about it. Your courage taught us how to honor military service through action instead of rhetoric. Gold Star mothers, whose memorial money had been stolen by Thompson, finally saw monuments honoring their children constructed with recovered funds, supplemented by Hells Angels donations that honored rather than exploited their sacrifice. Sarah's Veterans Protection Alliance expanded nationwide, preventing systematic exploitation of military families through a partnership between federal resources and grassroots intelligence networks. Hells Angels, chapters across America, established veteran protection programs that identified charity fraud before criminals could establish operations. Sarah received a Congressional Medal for Veteran Advocacy, while earning honorary Hells Angels membership for courage that transcended traditional boundaries. The Alliance recovered over $25 million in stolen funds, while prosecuting 43 criminal organizations that preyed on military families. 5 years later, veteran charity fraud had declined dramatically as criminals understood that military families were protected by an alliance between federal authority and biker networks that made exploitation too dangerous to attempt. Sarah learned that individual courage could create institutional change when supported by unlikely allies, united around shared principles rather than divided by superficial differences. Sometimes, the greatest victories require building bridges between worlds that seem incompatible, but share a commitment to protecting those who served. In the heart-wrenching tale of Sarah Martinez, a Purple Heart recipient and staff sergeant who lost her leg in Fallujah, we witness a profound lesson in the unyielding power of courage and unlikely alliances against systemic injustice. Sarah, a fierce advocate for fallen veterans, uncovered the Iron Cross Rally's dark underbelly, a fraudulent scheme where organizer Rick Diesel Thompson siphoned millions from memorial funds meant for Gold Star families, all while hiding behind patriotic banners and excluding women like her from the event. Banned at the gates, humiliated by sexist policies and corrupt security, Sarah could have walked away, her prosthetic leg a symbol of battles already fought. But she didn't. With military resolve, she staged a protest, rallied social media, and exposed the theft, drawing in whistleblowers and media scrutiny. Yet, the true turning point came when the Hells Angels, those chrome-riding outlaws with a code of honor, stepped in. Reviewing her evidence, they declared war on the fraud, using their vast network to dismantle Thompson's empire, recover funds, and forge a groundbreaking partnership with federal agents. This story tugs at our souls, reminding us that true heroism isn't born in isolation. It's amplified by solidarity. In a world rife with exploitation, where the vulnerable are preyed upon by those cloaked in false valor, Sarah teaches us that one voice, fueled by righteous fury, can shatter empires. It evokes the raw emotion of betrayal turned to triumph, the tears of Gold Star mothers finally seeing monuments rise from stolen ashes, and the quiet pride of bridging divides between bikers and badges. Life's greatest battles demand we stand not alone, but with allies who share our fire for justice, no matter how improbable. This narrative isn't just inspiration. It's a call to action in our own lives, to question authority, protect the deserving, and build bridges over chasms of distrust. If Sarah's journey moved you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever fought injustice with unexpected help? Let's discuss how we can honor our veterans better. And if stories like this ignite your spirit, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Join our community to uncover more tales of real heroism and change the world, one story at a time. Your support keeps these voices alive.